The Roof Nation, and welcome back to comics. Welcome back to comics. So today I'm going to be talking about a comic book. On this show, we'll do a little bit of everything. I can talk about arcs, characters, storylines, creators, just comic news, whatever I want. Today, I'm talking about the Serenity comic, The Shepherd's Tale. I talked about it on this week's John's Corner. If you haven't seen it, you can check it out. But, spoilers galore for the TV show Firefly, the movie Serenity, the new Firefly book, Big Damn Heroes, and this book, obviously, The Shepherd's Tale. So, if you haven't seen any of that, turn this off, go watch it. What are you doing with your lives? Go watch it now. But if you watch the show Firefly, one of the biggest questions that was left is, what the hell is Daryl Book's past? Like, he's a preacher, a religious man, holy, but he clearly has some kind of military past, and you don't know what it is. The Alliance seems to respect him. Some of them almost seem to fear him, like, and you don't really know what's going on with him. He doesn't tell his past, but you know he has one, and they always hint at it. It never comes out. So when they announced the Serenity movie, everybody was like, are we finally going to learn about his past? Are we going to get his origin story? Is it going to tell us? And then, spoilers, they killed him. They just killed him. And it's like, what the fuck? How are you not going to tell us the story? And the movie didn't do as well in box office as we hoped, so they didn't get a sequel. I was hoping for kind of a prequel about him. And then in real life, Ron Glass, the actor who played him, died, passed away, rest in peace. So it's like, we're never going to get that story. But then Joss Whedon and Zach Whedon, they gave us this, A Shepherd's Tale, and it's a comic book. And it takes place kind of during Serenity. In Serenity, the planet that book is on is attacked and he's killed, and then Mal and them show up. And this takes place right as that attack's happening. So this takes place in a scene that doesn't happen on the show, but right before the show, you know? And, yeah, because there's literally a passage in this book that shows Book shot and laying there, and that's where Mal finds him in the movie. So it's like right in that movie, right like the scene before it. But then he relives his life, and it goes backwards. It goes back a couple years each time to different events in his life. And we learn about him. We learn who he is and the man he was. And it is not what you think. So it goes back a couple years to when he's on Serenity. And this says that the time of Serenity was 2 years before this event. Which I guess makes sense. That means the movie Serenity was a lot further out from the TV show than I thought. I always thought the movie Serenity was the next year, but they're saying, like, I guess a year and a half change. And then, and then it goes back to when he joins the Abbey and becomes a preacher and all that. Which, okay, all of that we know. Cool. I'm glad he showed it to us. Now, what's his story? And so then it jumps back again, and he's a drunkard. Okay, so again, spoilers. They're going to be spoiled on this. It's really good. You should definitely read it. If you haven't read it, read it. But I don't know how much I want to divulge to you guys, but oh, fuck it. I'm just going to talk about it because I do love this book. And the reason why I've been thinking about it a lot lately is because I've been reading the new novel that came out. And Book is talking to an old friend of his from the military days. And they reference the ships and what happened on it, which is the story that you learn in this book, in this comic. So I was like, oh, it's all tying together, which I just love. And it's, oh my God, Firefly is the new Star Wars, and I'm so excited. Joss Whedon wanted Buffy, the Buffy comics, to be the old Marvel universe. And boom, doing the reboot of it kind of stopped that. But he got Star Wars with Firefly. He's doing it. So proud of him. But no, so definitely check that book out. It's really good. I'll be honest, I'll be perfectly honest. The first 2 to 4 chapters, I was kind of bored. It didn't really hook me in. I'm just being honest. But after that, it kind of found its stride. Because I was like, you know, I love Firefly. I really want to see where they go with this. And they're making new books. I just want to know what's happening. And I'm like, I'm just going to force myself to read it. I would read like a chapter a day because I just wasn't feeling it. And then somewhere along the line, it clicked and it found its stride. And ever since then, ever since around chapter like 4 or 5, it's been great. It's just getting better every chapter. It's hard to put it down now. So should definitely check it out and just give it the first couple chapters. first 2, 3, 4 chapters, don't judge it too harshly on those, because it definitely gets better. Yeah, but it got me thinking about this book again. And so we find out he's a drunkard, which I was not expecting, because he doesn't drink alcohol. But that's one of his religious vows. So he was an alcoholic back then. I thought that was awesome. I don't know why. It's just like the fact that he was that broken and damaged. And then we find out that he was part of one of the biggest disasters for the Alliance during the war. And the reason why the Alliance, a lot of the Alliance people still respect him and all that is because he still has his ID card, and they swept it under the rug. The Alliance didn't want to deal with the negative publicity or any of that, so they discharged him, and they just kind of erased it like it never happened because they didn't want to deal with it. And so because of that, book kind of got a free pass. And so like, damn, so he was an Alliance, and he was an Alliance man who tried to win the war against the Independents in a single day. Like, he tried to go all out and destroy the Independents. And then they're like, oh shit, like, he fought on the other side of the war, which we always kind of suspected he had something to do with Alliance, but like, damn, like, he was trying to wipe out the Independents. Like, Mal would not like that. He would not be happy. But then we go further back, and we see how he rose to the ranks of the Alliance, and he was brutal, like, beating Independents with his bare hands, just boom, pounding into them and shit. And it's like, what the fuck? And it's like, Book got some anger, like the most peaceful, loving person on the show. He got some anger inside him. And then we go further back, and we find out that, yeah, he has some anger in him. But we see him fighting Alliance people, and we find out that his name's not even Daryl Book. That he stole that identity from some kid, because the Independents, before the war even started, knew the only way they had a chance of winning the war was to get a spy into the Alliance ahead of time. And so he volunteered, killed some poor kid, stole his identity, and to his dying day goes by that name. And he fought and he sabotaged the Alliance from inside. So what the accident was, he planned it. He sabotaged it. He made it happen. And we find out that before that, he was a kid who was getting in trouble, and him and his friends got in trouble, and he ditched his friends and ran off. And he only joined the Alliance because, I mean, he only joined the Independents before joining the Alliance because the Alliance was after him and they knew who he was. And his name was Henry Evans. And it's like, wait, what? Then we find out that he got in trouble with the law when he was a kid because his dad was abusive and used to beat him as a kid, and he ran away from home. He decided that he was going to make his own way in the world and find his own path. And it's just like, damn, his life took so many twists and turns, and it is such a good story and just explains so much about who he is and where he comes from. And all the questions you have, and just the fact that, and it's just also like, there's a scene in here where Jane is talking to him about hell, and he's like, am I gonna go to hell? And Book's like, you know, if you lived a righteous life, if you live this, if you have that, and it's all about redemption. And Book lived a bad life, a hard, cruel, fucked up life. And he turned it around and became a better man. And then he put himself on a ship full of criminals and tried to make them better. And it's very powerful. You guys should check it out. Don't know if you guys read this or not. I'm a big Firefly fan. And actually met Ron Glass, and I've always been jealous of that. But I just want to talk about that. So this has been comics. I hope you guys enjoyed.